chair this council earlier this year, it was because of opportunities like this, historic opportunities to build a commercial relationship between the United States and Cuba that would have the power to bridge differences. A commercial relationship that would create opportunities for Americans and Cubans alike, and one that would at last put our countries on a path toward the productive and collaborative relations that are fitting of such close neighbors. Like many Cuban Americans, I was raised on Cuba policy, U.S. Cuba policy. And I left Cuba in July of 1960 and did not return until August 14, 2015, which is the day that our embassy opened in Havana. And by the way, I've been back 3 more times since then. It was clear to me after so much time having been away from my place of birth that as a proud U.S. citizen born in Cuba, it became very evident to me that the love of the people, the love of the land of my birth, of my parents' birth, of my grandparents' birth, the land of my ancestors, that love was greater than any political difference that we could have between the two countries. And that became starkly clear to me upon my return. What is indisputable is that sweeping changes have occurred over the past year. We all know that in spite of all these constructive changes, much important work remains to be done. And it will take sustained efforts of all stakeholders to ensure that this historic opportunity is seized and not squandered. That's why the U.S. Chamber launched the U.S.-Cuba Business Council with the goal of building a strategic commercial partnership and ultimately to create bilateral trade and investment relationships. This council will also strive to help businesses and entrepreneurs on both sides recognize and pursue new opportunities in one another's markets. We believe engagement with Cuba and the promotion of business principles will play a positive role in helping Cuba prosper economically and help U.S. firms gain entry into this very important market. Today, momentum is building for historic and meaningful change. Cuba's effort to reduce the government workforce by 600,000 is noteworthy, and so is the simultaneous expansion of private employment. In the U.S., the Obama administration has made significant steps to create opportunities of engagement despite the U.S. sanctions on Cuba, by loosening restrictions on travel, financial transactions, telecommunications, and more. But there is still so much more to be done. As investors that create jobs and opportunities in markets around the world, the U.S.-Cuba Business Council members have a critical stake in the Cuba-U.S. economic partnership. We are working together with both governments to shape policy priorities and share best practices designed to make the United States and Cuba more competitive in the global marketplace. The U.S.-Cuba Business Council membership has identified policy areas for 2016 that represent the greatest challenge to our members' ability to do business in Cuba. But we should recognize and we should aim as partners with both governments to fully understand that normalization is impossible while sanctions remain in place. To address just how we can most effectively work together to to create a flourishing bilateral relationship is Cuba's Minister of Foreign Trade and Investment, Rodrigo Manieta. The minister was previously Cuba's permanent representative at the United Nations. He was ambassador to Belgium, the European Union, and Luxembourg. He also served as Deputy Minister of Foreign Trade, as well as Director of Europe. I understand from the Chamber, by the way, that the minister's presence here is historic for a number of reasons. The Chamber hosts dozens of heads of state in this very room every year, yet this is the first senior-level Cuban official to speak at a public event in this famous Hall of Flags in decades. And we hope that there will be many, many more speeches from Cuban officials in this room. So, Minister, may your presence and your remarks be a sign of things to come. Please join me in welcoming Cuba's Minister of Foreign Trade and Investment, Minister Rodrigo Gutiérrez.